GutPunched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers. Navigating the insidious illness of Alzheimer's is something nobody asks for. The disease sneaks up on you and your loved one, and it feels like you've been sucker punched in the gut. Then you ask, where do we turn for help? Who do we call? What do we do? These questions and more are what we hope to answer and give you some direction and hope. Now let's join our host, Jeff Edwards.
Greetings and welcome. This is GutPunched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, episode 40, or some interesting things to know about Alzheimer's disease. So how you doing today? Good, I hope. You know, this has been a strange week with strange weather. It was snow in Louisiana and snow in northern Florida. Very cold temps in the Northeast. Iguanas falling from the trees in Florida. Yeah, that really happens when it gets cold. Today, we'll be bringing you some information about a breakthrough using amazing Xenon gas. Info on who can develop dementia after the age of 55, and life expectancy estimates after receiving a dementia diagnosis. We were asked recently, why GutPunched? How did you come up with that name? Well, it goes back to our beginning. It's the emotional and physical feeling one gets when they are given bad news. When the doctor says, I'm sorry to say, but we believe your loved one has Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. It feels like you've been punched in the gut. It knocks the air right out of you. You have to take some deep breaths and figure out, what do you do next? That's why we're here, doing what we're doing, bringing you information and resources. And we continue to grow thanks to you. Just keep on sharing. The more you know, and the more that others know, we're all better for it. So let's get started. Okay, our GutPunched Alzheimer's and Caregivers rules are: 1, you have to take care of yourself, because if something happens to you, who is going to take care of your loved one? You can't do it alone. You need help. Find good caregiver groups or network with friends or relatives. That's number 2. And number 3, make a list of people, friends, relatives, co-workers who have offered to help you in time of need, and then make a list of things you need done but can't do yourself because caregiving duties are overwhelming, and they can be. Use the lists. Start at the top and keep going till you get what you need done. You'll find it very helpful. Okay, our first topic today: 4 in 10 people can develop dementia after the age of 55. It's an article written by Lauren Neer-Gerard. Let's see, it was January 13th, Monday, a couple weeks ago. About 1 million Americans a year are expected to develop dementia by 2060, roughly double today's toll, researchers reported Monday. That estimate is based on a new study that found a higher lifetime risk than previously thought. After age 55, people have up to a 4 in 10 chance of eventually developing dementia if they live long enough. It's a sobering number, but there are steps people can take to reduce that risk, such as controlling high blood pressure and other bad for the brain health problems. And it's not too late to try even in middle age. Here's a quote: all of our research suggests that what you do in midlife really matters, said Dr. Joseph Koresh of NYU Langone Health, who co-authored this study in journal Nature Medicine. Taking longer to recall the name or where you put your keys is typical with older age, but dementia isn't a normal part of aging. It's a progressive loss of memory, language, and other cognitive functions. Simply getting older is the biggest risk, and the population is rapidly aging. Alzheimer's is the most common form, and silent brain changes that eventually lead to it can begin 2 decades before symptoms appear. Other types include vascular dementia, when heart disease or small strokes impair blood flow to the brain. Many people have mixed causes, meaning vascular problems could exacerbate brewing Alzheimer's symptoms. Measuring the risk from a certain age over the potential remaining lifespan can guide public health recommendations and medical research. Prior studies estimated about 14% of men and 23% of women would develop some form of dementia during their lifetime. Now, Koresh's team analyzed more than recent data from the U.S. study that has tracked the heart health and cognitive function of about 15,000 older adults for several decades. Importantly, they found the risk changes with the decades. Only 4% of people develop dementia between the ages of 55 and 75, what Koresh calls a key 20-year window for protecting brain health. For people who survive common health threats until 75, the dementia risk then jumped to 20% by age 85 and 42% between ages of 85 and 95. Overall, the lifetime dementia risk after the age 55 was 35% for men and 48% for women. That's what the researchers concluded. Women generally live longer than men, a main reason for that difference. Black Americans had a slightly higher risk, 44%, than white people at 41%. Now, there are some risk factors that people can't control, including age and whether you inherited a gene variant called APOE4 that raises the chances of late-life Alzheimer's. But people can try to avert or at least delay health problems that contribute to later dementia. Koresh, for example, wears a helmet when biking because of repeated or severe brain injuries from crashes or falls increase the risk of later in life dementia. Especially important, what's good for your heart is good for your brain, added Miami's Galvin. He urges people to exercise, avoid obesity, and control blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol. For example, high blood pressure can impair blood flow to the brain, a risk not just for vascular dementia, but also linked to some hallmarks of Alzheimer's. And similarly, the high blood sugar of poorly controlled diabetes is linked to cognitive decline and damaging inflammation in the brain. Stay socially and cognitively active, Calvin said. He urges people to try hearing aids if age brings hearing loss, which can spur social isolation. There are things that we have control over, and those things, I think, would be really, really important to build a better brain as we age, he said. And that was 4 in 10 people could develop dementia after 55. Our next story was written by a person by the name of Dennis Thompson back on January 10th. Life expectancy estimates after dementia diagnosis. Kind of flows with the first article. The clock is running for people who have been diagnosed with dementia, but the time they have left depends upon their age. Average life expectancy for people with dementia is largely based on their age at diagnosis, researchers found in a new evidence review. Dementia reduces life expectancy by about 2 years for those diagnosed at age 85, 3 to 4 years for those diagnosed at age 80, and up to 13 years with a diagnosis at 65, researchers reported in a study published January 8th in the BMJ. About 1/3 of remaining life expectancy was lived in nursing homes, with more than half the people moving to a nursing home within 5 years after a dementia diagnosis, concluded the team led by senior researcher Dr. Frank Walters, a senior scientist in epidemiology with the Erasmus MC University Medical Center in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. One of the challenges of dementia involves planning for a person's care following diagnosis. And these plans can hinge on how long a person will live with degenerative brain condition, researchers said in background notes. Nearly 10 million people worldwide are diagnosed with dementia every year, researchers said. However, current life expectancy estimates vary widely and haven't been updated for more than a decade. For this evidence review, researchers analyzed data from 261 prior studies involving more than 5.5 million people with dementia. These studies came from around the world. Results show that age at diagnosis plays a factor in how long people have left. For example, men have a little under 6 years left, and women 8 years if they are diagnosed at the age of 65. By 85, life expectancy following dementia diagnosis drops to a little over 2 years for men and under 5 years for women, the results show. Now, average time to nursing home admission for a person with dementia was just over 3 years following diagnosis, with a third, 37%, admitted after 3 years and more than half, 57%, at 5 years, researchers said. Now, results also indicated that survival with dementia was longer among Asian populations and among people with Alzheimer's disease compared to other forms of dementia. Although hard to fully capture at a group level, the results suggest time to nursing home admission might be somewhat shorter in Europe and the U.S. compared with elsewhere, researchers wrote.
We'll be right back to GutPunched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Are you the caregiver for someone living with dementia? You're not alone.
I was a caregiver for my wife for 10 years, and it was a lot of work.
I'm a caretaker for my wife who has Alzheimer's.
I'm a caregiver of my husband that has CTE, and it's incredibly challenging.
The Dubin Center in Fort Myers has been offering free educational classes and support since 1995.
The Dubin Center has helped me exponentially with so many questions answered. It's just been great.
This is GutPunched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
And we came across this really interesting story, and it was written by Khalil Best from rollingout.com. Scientists say a gas used in anesthesia could revolutionize Alzheimer's disease treatments, bringing hope to millions worldwide. The battle against Alzheimer's disease may have found an unexpected ally in Xenon, a gas that's been hiding in plain sight within our atmosphere. This revolutionary discovery is turning heads in the medical community as researchers unveil promising evidence that could transform how we approach this devastating condition that affects millions of families worldwide. Most people have never heard of xenon gas, and that's for good reason. It makes up just a tiny fraction of the air we breathe, specifically 0.086 parts per million. While this noble gas has been quietly serving in operating rooms as an anesthetic, scientists have recently uncovered its remarkable potential to protect both the heart and brain. This discovery has caught the attention of various medical experts, including those at Mass General, Brigham and Washington University School of Medicine, who are now leading the charge in exploring its therapeutic possibilities. Now, what makes xenon particularly intriguing is its unique ability to enhance how blood carries oxygen through the body. Now, this property hasn't gone unnoticed by the climbing community, with adventurers eyeing its potential for high-altitude expeditions. But it's in the realm of brain health where xenon truly shines, demonstrating an exceptional ability to cross the notoriously selected blood-brain barrier, a crucial factor that has held back many promising treatments in the past. In groundbreaking laboratory studies, researchers have observed remarkable improvements in mice with Alzheimer's-like conditions after treatment with xenon gas. Now, the process involves a carefully calculated mixture containing 30% xenon gas administered for just 40 minutes. The results have been nothing short of remarkable, showing significant reductions in both brain shrinkage and inflammation. Now, the key to xenon's effectiveness lies in its interaction with microglia, the brain's immune cells. These tiny but mighty defenders play a crucial role in maintaining brain health, and xenon appears to help them function better. When exposed to xenon, these cells switch to a protective mode, leading to a decrease in the harmful amyloid plaques that are hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. Perhaps the most encouraging aspect of the research has been the noticeable improvements in cognitive functions among the test subjects. Scientists observed enhanced nest-building behaviors in treated mice, suggesting that xenon benefits extended beyond cellular changes to actual improvements in brain function. Now, the promising results have set the stage for the next phase of research. Brigham and Women's Hospital is preparing to launch clinical trials with healthy volunteers, marking a crucial step towards determining whether xenon benefits can translate to human patients. This progression from laboratory to clinical testing represents a significant milestone in the development of the potential new treatments for Alzheimer's. While the research community maintains cautious optimism, the path forward involves careful consideration of several factors. The Alzheimer's Association emphasizes the importance of human trials, acknowledging that while animal studies provide valuable insights, human Alzheimer's disease presents unique challenges that require thorough investigation. Now, the exploration of xenon gas as a potential treatment for Alzheimer's disease represents more than just another clinical trial. It symbolizes hope for millions of families affected by the condition. If successful, this approach could mark a significant shift in how we treat Alzheimer's, moving beyond symptom management to addressing the underlying causes of the disease. This innovative research exemplifies the importance of thinking outside traditional boundaries in medical science. By repurposing a gas primarily known for its use in anesthesia, researchers have potentially unveiled a new chapter in neurodegenerative disease treatment. The implications extend beyond Alzheimer's, suggesting possible applications in other areas of brain health and cognitive function. As the medical community continues to unravel the potential of xenon gas in treating Alzheimer's disease, families and patients worldwide watch with renewed hope. While challenges remain, the unique properties of this noble gas and the promising results seen so far provide compelling reasons for optimism in the ongoing fight against this devastating condition. Wow. They're always coming up with something new. They keep working at it. That's the good thing. So you got to stay hopeful.
We'll be right back to Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
I was in charge of my mother since she retired from work. When she was diagnosed with Alzheimer, it just turned my life like upside down. It was difficult for me to identify because she normally forget where she left the keys or if she has something to do. She can have a conversation like normal with a neighbor, but suddenly she comes to me and she says, "Who's that? I don't know who's that." And she started like repeating the same questions. And when she was diagnosed, she said, "What are you telling me? No, I don't have this." Because she didn't want to recognize what was happening to her. 1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease, and 2/3 are women. For more information, go to brightfocus.org.
This is Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers.
Well, as they say in the movies, that's a wrap. Hope some of the information was helpful. We are trying to arrange a conversation with a caregiver who has a spouse in a memory care facility, and we'll find out some of the challenges that were experienced and how they were solved. If you know someone who has a family member or friends who are dealing with a loved one who has Alzheimer's or any type of dementia, please share this podcast with them as we grow it to reach more caregivers and provide them with hope and direction. We would appreciate that very much. For more information, you can check out the Alzheimer Support Network at alzsupport.org/about us or the Dubin Center at dubincenter.com. And to find your local chapter of the Alzheimer's Association, you can visit alz.org/local resources/find your local chapter. Dr. Perry's HealthSpan Partners website is healthspanswfl.com. And for more information on the guide we've talked about many times, it's probably easier to just Google it, Edge it, or DuckDuckGo it. The website is gutpunched.com, and the email address is gutpunchac@outlook.com. Thanks for joining us, and please come back again. Help us grow and spread the information and resources by hitting the subscribe button. God bless.
This has been Gut Punched, Alzheimer's and Caregivers, with your host, Jeff Edwards. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to us on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple, Pandora, and more. If you have a question or want to get in touch, our email is gutpunchedac@outlook.com.